1998. And one day I went into my training class, and sitting there were these two strangers. And we met these two fellows. One person's name was Itzhak Mayo. The other person's name was Ilan Ramon. And we were told for the first time that we have two new members of our astronaut class. One of these two men will be the first Israeli astronaut, and they will be part of your group. And for me, being a Jewish American, it was something that was extraordinary. I had no idea that this was going on. I had no idea that this was in the works. And I was extremely proud to have these two men joining our class. And so I got to know Ilan starting that day. And I got to know his family. We actually spent the first Passover they spent in Houston. They invited me over for a Seder, and we had that's when I first met Rona and the kids. And so I guess what I want to say to all the children that are here is that it's a wonderful thing to have Ilan Ramon's name on your school, but with that comes a tremendous responsibility. Because this is a person that is really worthy of emulating. He was an amazing man. He's the kind of guy that you would really want as a friend. He is also incredibly competent at everything he did. But the thing I think I remember most is his most extraordinary quality is his humility. So he did all these amazing things, and it was secret to us at the time, but it's common knowledge now that he was one of the men that were part of the raid on Iraq that destroyed that nuclear reactor and took weapons of mass destruction away from Saddam Hussein. And it was, at the time, it was viewed to be a suicide mission. Only the most skilled pilots were selected to have a chance that they would be successful with something so important. And he was the last person to attack the target, so he was the most vulnerable. But he agreed to do that, and he made it back. Now here he was at NASA, and he was flying with American pilots that were tremendous, had much fewer hours in airplanes, and were not nearly as talented as he was. But because of the arrangement, he could only fly in the backseat. He wasn't even allowed to do the takeoff and the landing. He just had to sit there and be quiet. If this bothered him at all, nobody could tell. If you talk to him about this, you know, he was selected to be the first Israeli astronaut, and you say, "Whoa, you're going to be famous. You're going to be on television." Some lesser people might think about ways they could make money afterwards for them and their family, and what they can go on to do with that. But that was never something that was entered into his mind. His sense of duty was so extraordinary, and his need to represent not just. There's a story about the chief of staff of the Israeli Air Force called him one day and said, "Ilan, with all the delays, I'm sorry, we're running out of budget, and we're going to have to bring you back to Israel." And Ilan said to the chief of staff, "No, you can't do that. Because I'm no longer representing just the Israeli Air Force. It's not in your power to cancel this mission, because I'm representing Jews all over the world. In Israel, in the United States, in Canada, religious Jews, secular Jews, Sephardim, Ashkenazi, it didn't matter. Everybody was part of this mission, and he worked so hard to make that happen." So as you learn about Ilan and who he was, there are just so many things that are worthy of emulating. So I'm happy to be with you tonight because any chance that I ever have to continue his mission, because you know the space flight was only the first step of Ilan's mission. What he was looking forward to most was not necessarily flying in space, but it was coming back and inspiring a whole generation of people to follow in his footsteps and to pursue a brighter future by learning about math and science and technology and finding socially responsible ways to apply them and make our world a better place. He really believed that that was our key to a happy future, both in Israel and then throughout the whole world. And he didn't get a chance to finish that mission. And one of the more difficult moments for me on the many trips I took to Israel after the accident was once they brought me to Ramat Gan, and I went into Ilan's school in Ramat Gan. And it hit me very, very hard because, you know, one of the things that all of us do after we come back from flying in space is we go back home. And we especially go back to our schools and talk to the kids and try to encourage them. And I had done that. I went back to my schools in New Jersey and talked to the kids there. And there it was, standing in a lawn school, realizing that he's not going to have that chance. When that realization hit me, it was extremely powerful. And I realized that it's then our job to fulfill that mission for him, to complete it. And so you guys are helping by doing this. And I just want to say thank you.